Oh, it was a really good day for the solar industry in particular. The government's been doing a lot of work around establishing different funding options, but today was a real step change in what they're putting forward to the industry.
I mean, we've heard a lot about the Inflation Reduction Act in the US. Does this $1 billion even scratch the surface of that?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a significant investment in the US, isn't there? I think $455 billion or thereabouts. I think the government's had a prudent approach to it. There's a number of elements for industry to get access to funding, including the National Reconstruction Fund, the CEFC arena. And so there's already a platform of investment available there for new enterprise. And I think today's announcement really brings it all together, because the one key element is a production credit, which we've been talking about for some time in the media, actually makes a key point of difference.
Well, there are no details surrounding this $1 billion announcement yet. I believe industry, including yourself, is going to work with the Renewable Energy Agency to thrash those details out. What are you hoping it will achieve?
Yeah, it's, really what needs to happen in this next stage of negotiations is the outcome for the industry develops a sustainable, platform to leverage and grow from. I think there's been some commentary around can Australia really develop a competitive industry? And I think the answer is yes, as long as the support and the stimulation's right at the right time. And this package, on the surface of it, as you say, there's some detail to work through, appears to be addressing that.
In terms of competition, China obviously dominates the market, more than 80% of the solar panel manufacturing. Can Australia really challenge China's dominance?
I do believe that there's a place for Australia in the industry to be manufacturing, absolutely, in terms of sovereign capability, as well as recovering some of the loss in manufacturing in Australia. And renewables is a fantastic opportunity to do that. We're already competing, so Tindo Solar's actually been in business now for 14 years in the market, commercially available, so it's possible. And I think depends how you find competition, but there are a number of ways you can compete in any market. And I think Australia has a real advantage. We definitely have the right climate for renewables. We definitely have the know-how. The PV industry, or the solar panel industry, was born in Australia at the University of New South Wales, just down the road from where we are today. And so we have the intelligence and intellect and capabilities. It's just a matter of having the right investment environment for it to work.
Well, the Prime Minister said today Australia typically hasn't been good at commercialising its research breakthroughs. Is it going to be different this time?
The reason this is different this time is there is actually we're not talking about a cutting edge development. This is technology that's proven. It's highly used in Australia, and some of the things that we're doing, as an example, are taking the best of that technology and making a product that's specifically suited for the Australian environment. And there are opportunities for other companies in the industry to do that as well. There's some exciting technological developments, but they're playing into a mature market, so it's much easier to see where you can create value. And I think a decade ago that was a bit harder to see. And so I think if you're seeking to compete around value and playing to your strengths, absolutely there's a place for Australia in the market.
Well, you've been producing, as you say, solar panels in Australia for 14 years, and in fact the only Australian manufacturer at the moment. How do you compete with lower cost imports from China predominantly?
We've been very clear about focusing on how we add value to the product, and that's specifically around designing and engineering our product to suit the Australian conditions, which means we make a very high performing panel, and we select the way we design that as we put the materials in to do that. But not just high performing, long lasting. Early in the piece in the industry, there was a lot of failure, and there still is a lot of questionable product in the market. And we focused on making sure that our product is very well regarded from a quality point of view, that it suits our conditions, and the customer really understands that. And that's been our key point of difference for some time now.
AGL and SunDrive are teaming up to manufacture solar panels in Australia. Are you worried about local competition in the market?
Yeah, not really. We're already in a massive competition now. So we're the only solar panel manufacturer in Australia. We compete with imported product every day of the week. Actually, I think having competition on Australia's shores will be healthy, and healthy competition always leads to better outcomes, and activity creates opportunity is the way I feel about that. So not that I'm welcoming them with open arms, but certainly encouraging the investment the government's making.
And Tindo Solar has been looking for $100 million for a new factory. Does this announcement go some way to providing that today?
Oh, absolutely. It's a really important access point, to be honest with you. Without this initiative, we don't think there's an opportunity to invest in at that sort of scale in Australia, and we believe that this program will actually help reduce the difference between imported product and a homemade product or an Australian-made product until we get to a certain level of scale and where it's no longer needed. So the gap between where we are today and where we need to be is significant enough to need the support from government that they've offered today.
And what's the time frame to close that gap, do you think?
Well, I don't think it's that long, actually. I think our vision is that starting with a gigafactory or gigawatt factory, we've got a case that says that's really viable with the right settings, which includes supplying to the local market and export. Within a matter of 5 years, I think we could be certainly scaled to a level where we're competitive on the world stage.
Richard Pedersen, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alicia.